Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's bet on it. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this lovely episode number 178. And today we've got two awesome new sets that provide two different things for you, depending on what you want to do with them or what your interests may be. So no wasting time today. No wasting time. I just want to jump right into these because they're actually really, really cool. And the first one here is something that is different. Lego is trying something different. I can see this working in the future. I could also see this maybe not working depending on at the time of release or to the specific audience. And what I'm referring to is the Ninjago Brickheadz 40490. Now, here is what is different about these. This promotion runs from June 1st through June 30th. You can get them at the Lego store. When you go to purchase stuff, this is part of it. Now, this is different because it's not a gift with purchase. It is a purchase with purchase. Yes, a purchase with purchase. Okay. And what that means is when you buy and reach that certain dollar limit or euro limit or pound limit, then you get this added on top if you want to purchase it. So here's the qualifications. June 1st to June 30th, is, like I told you, is however long it is going to run, those 30 days. It is only on Ninjago purchases, only. And you have to meet that 85 threshold the whole way across the board. 85 euro, 85 USD, 85 pounds. The whole way across the board. And it's going to cost you an extra $10. So if you buy $85 worth of Ninjago stuff, then you have to spend another $10 to get these Brickheadz. Or else you don't get them because it's not a gift with purchase. It's a purchase. It's just an added bonus. So here's the way this is going to work. This is going to be what happens throughout the month of June. And I think it's a really cool idea, but I'll be curious to see how it really works. So after that period, come July 1st, if there's any that are left over, any Brickheadz that are left over that did not sell with this promotion, what they are going to do is they are going to be able to be bought at a price tag of $30, 30 euros, 30 pounds, July 1st, if there's any left. So it's kind of a weird gamble. And then from July 1st until the end of the year, the 31st of December, you'll be able to purchase these, which is so bizarre. That is so bizarre. So what do? You're kind of in this quandary of like, well, do I do it now with this Ninjago stuff? Now, here's the dilemma. Here's the problem here in the Americas. In the Americas, the new Ninjago stuff, sure, you have the Island Wave that had those 4 sets that came out, which are phenomenal. But the new stuff that launches over in Europe and the rest of the world June 1st doesn't launch here until August 1st. So if you are already caught up on your Ninjago purchases, then you have nothing to buy. You can't get this promotion, which is a head scratcher to me. So why not translate this, carry it over here for the Americas because we're already different? Why not push this over until August instead of June when there's really nothing out there? Now, I know not everybody is a Ninjago fan and not everybody has bought the entire wave, of Ninjago sets for however many past seasons are still on the shelves. But my concern is that it's not going to do as well. So the numbers are not going to stand up and scream and say, yeah, this is it. And by the way, Ninjago City Gardens, which I am still waiting on, is still not available. We are now heading into June, and this thing is still not available, which is a big problem. And I know things are coming back online and stuff like that. I've got a conversation I want to share with you guys with a Lego employee that, told me where kind of things are going with this. And I spoke with the store manager, one of the store managers. There's 2 stores in my locale, and they're slowly coming back to pushing out more pick-a-brick stock because everything was kind of frozen, put on hold so that the factories could catch up on sets. And now everything is kind of coming back. But then I look at it and I say, well, there's still stuff that's missing. There's still a lot of things that aren't up and able to be purchased because they're either out of stock completely or they're back ordered beyond the end of time. So that it does become frustrating as a consumer, especially an adult consumer, when you're looking for those bigger high dollar sets that are never in stock, that can't be in stock, that aren't able to stay in stock. It just becomes frustrating. So back to the Ninjago thing. I think it probably would have served Lego US and the Americas better had it been pushed until August. You're going to get a lot more traction then than what you are now because all the new stuff is coming out. The island wave of sets, those 4 that I discussed before, they're already out. That's not new. That's not new and exciting. For kids, sure. But at that point, most kids aren't going into the Lego store and spending $85. Most parents aren't pushing that. And then you add the 10 on top of it, so you're pushing well over 100 after tax. So enough of that. We can come back to that. Let's talk about what you get with these 3 lovely little brickheads, because they are lovely, they are little, but they are pretty dynamo. So your brickheads numbers, for those of you that keep track at home that have to have them all, you have 146, 147, and 148. So 146 is Nia, the Samurai X version of her from early Ninjago, way early Ninjago, first few seasons. So you have Nia here. The thing about Nia with this is the colors. You have that dark evergreen type green, the black, the red, and the gold. And the gold, of course, is what is going to stand out. Now, standard build for brickheads, so I'm not going to bore you with all that as I snap her off her stand here. But what I found interesting is some of the parts that are used here. So you have a golden sword. You have a golden ring around the center of her chest, which is part of the Samurai X suit. You have golden horns, which are used via a version of a claw attached to one of the, I call them water pistols because they don't look like anything. The little blaster pistol type deals attached to some other clips that go into another bar. Interesting. It's nicely done. It really gives some ornate decoration to the top of a brickheads, which usually is not the case. Usually brickheads on the top are kind of bland, kind of plain. It's just the head. This really kind of bumps it up a little bit. Now, talking about the head and the top, the samurai helmet that she is wearing is really nicely built out. It's 2-tiered, and I do like the way that is done. The bottom tier sticks out further than the top tier, and then you have a rounded cap that is on the top, which works perfectly. One of the cool parts that I don't ever recall seeing on a brickheads is a wheel well piece, and the wheel well piece is used on both sides of where her arms would be for the shoulder pauldrons, which is a neat idea to do that. Aside from that, there's really not much else to her. It's a nice little build. If you're a Ninjago fan, you're definitely going to like it. It's going to fit quite well in your collection. The question is, are you going to be able to spend the money? So the next one here, I'm going to jump to Golden Lloyd because I want to save the other one. I know I'm not going in number order here, sequential order. I want to hold the other one until the end. This is just a bunch of gold. Gold, right? There's gold and there's that dark green. Aside from that, there's not much else here. This is the only one, though, the brickheads that you get the Ninjago 10-year anniversary plate that is on the front, the 2x2 tile, rounded tile. Lloyd has a sword with a tassel piece that is on the back of it. He has some decoration that is on his chest as well. But I do like the tiering of the colors here. Gold, green, gold, green, gold, green, gold. That really works well. Oh, it keeps falling off on my stand. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. But what I really find interesting is just the excessive amount of gold tiles here. It's okay. I wish they were some 2x2 gold tiles, not just 1x2s, because that's all it is on the top, on the bottom, on the sides, on the back, on the front. It's just go. Now, it's not a problem, and it does look like Lloyd. Now, you don't get the regular brickheads eyes here, with the 2 little tiny squares. You get 2 1x1 round tiles in that translucent green because Lloyd's eyes are green. Majority of Lloyd's eyes are green. So you have that. It looks really nice. It's the same size as the other ones. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller head-wise than what Nia's Samurai X one is, because that one has the Samurai helmet, so it is much larger. Now, the next one here is my favorite. This is probably my favorite Brickheadz of all time, and probably because it is unique and for its character. And what I'm talking about is Firstborn. If you recall back to Season 9, Season 9 was when we were introduced to Firstborn, and then Firstborn made a brief appearance in the March of the Oni. You don't want to call it a season, but whatever, the little mini series that they had, the four episodes. So they have Firstborn here, and this is great because it is a large brick-built Firstborn, kind of like the character dragon that we got, the set we got. It is very reminiscent of that build-wise. Now, for the most part, you have to suspend what you know about Brickheadz, because this is nothing like you've seen before. And I applaud LEGO designers for stepping outside of the box and trying something different, trying something new, trying something a little more fun, and I hope to see more of this in the future. So, you have wings, brick-built wings that do move up and down. They stick way out. You have 4 legs for this dragon, so you actually have a bunch of empty space down and below, underneath the chest cavity, underneath the belly of the beast here. There are some ears that are on the back side of Firstborn's head here that are used, and they just kind of flap just a tiny bit. They don't move too much because they are brick locked at a certain point. The decoration detail on the back is amazing with all the texturing that is going on, a bunch of slopes that are of different angles and stuff. That really works. You have slopes that are going down the main spine, and then some that are coming off of the side. And then you have some tooth pieces that are used that essentially stop the ears from flapping way too far back. And then you have the tail back behind that on the just below all of those sloped pieces. And they use a claw piece as the main tip of the tail. So the tail is rounded downward, and then you have the tip of the tail, which uses that claw piece that just clips in. It's really, really nice. I like that. So it can move. There's a lot of things that can move on here. But what I want to really do is move up and above, because the horns on Firstborn, on the original one, they looked pretty good. These look better, in my opinion. They just feel like there's more added to it. I mean, it almost feels like Doc Ock is kind of reincarnate in here with Firstborn. So you have the piece that is used, which I found very fascinating, and it does actually maneuver, which I am really shocked by. The piece that I'm talking about is a 1x1 round plate that has the bar sticking out of it. And the bar is holding the assembly of the claws and the rounded brick that is used here to get the horns. The horns can be moved up and down. There's a lot of range of motion here. I'd say probably 100 degrees. Moves quite well. It can be rotated up, down, side to side. A lot of points of movement here. So you can really kind of get a whatever kind of pose you really want to go with this, you can really get. If you want them to stick straight up, you can stick them straight up. If you want to have them turn to the side, you can have. I mean, there's a lot that you can do here. Plus the claw that is on that new bar piece, that tile with a bar, you can use that. There's just a lot of cool ways to pose this between the wings, between the horns. It's really nice. Moving to the front, you have the beard of Firstborn here, and when I'm talking about the beard, it's on the Firstborn character. It's kind of got this fluff that kind of hangs down from the front of the mouth. So you have that, and then you have the pronounced teeth, the overbite, or is it underbite, where the lower jaw sticks out further than the top jaw. And you have the teeth there with the yellow eyes. I really like the way that is done. And the eyes are partially hidden. And that's where it gives that menacing, I'm going to mess you guys up, you bad guys. I'm going to mess y'all up with my craziness. And I really like this Brickheadz. If anybody remembers Spyro, the dragon game, when I first saw this, after it was built, I thought, that's like Spyro. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind, which is kind of odd. but it is. That's exactly what I thought. I'm going to finish discussing this in a moment on the other side of this break. So as far as these go, beautiful little Brickheadz. If you're a Ninjago person, you're going to want them. If you're not a Ninjago person, maybe not. If you're a completionist like April B with the Brickheadz, like Will, I know they're going to have to get these. They're going to have to find a way to spend $85 on Ninjago. Even if you already have some stuff, you're going to have figure it out somehow. Or do you take the gamble and wait, like I said, come July 1st and hope there's stock left? I have a feeling there's going to be stock left. I'm not telling you to do either or. That's just my guess, is that there's going to be stock left over and that they will be able to be purchased separate. With that said, I think the value is interesting. $10 to go with $85. Everybody that I have talked to about purchase stuff are not super excited about something where they have to spend a dollar amount and then spend more money to be able to get the thing. I know why Lego's doing it. It just seems weird, right? If it accompanied, I don't know, a larger set or something like that, like Ninjago City Gardens, maybe I could see it then, right? The 10th anniversary stuff, because you get that piece here. This feels a little like, well, I don't know. So, but as a whole, I really like the way these turned out. They are by far one of my favorite Brickheadz that are done due to the bias that I have with Ninjago. But my favorite by far definitely has to be Firstborn. And I hope Lego does more of these. They've already done the Pets line, and I'm sure there will be more Pets line Brickheadz coming in the future. I have no doubt. I think it was successful. I think people like that different type of thing. I definitely did. I like the colors. I love the different designs. And then you have Firstborn. So if Ninjago became an offshoot with Brickheadz and they started doing some of the dragons and they started doing some of the creatures, I would be okay with that. That would suck me in. That would get my money. Just like with the Harry Potter Brickheadz. Those of you that are big Harry Potter fanatics are going to be sucked into buying the Harry Potter Brickheadz. Why? Because they're Harry Potter. There are going to be those things. There are going to be those themes. It's like Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, you want the Star Wars Brickheadz. Why? Because it goes with your Star Wars stuff. So I'm happy to see Ninjago get represented finally. With that said, let's move on to the next set here, which is very colorful, to say the least. So my question to you fine people after I discuss this set is, will this be something you keep together, or are you buying it for another reason? So what I'm referring to is the Everyone is Awesome set created by employee of Lego, Matthew Ashton. I guess they're all employees of Lego, the designers and everything. Matthew Ashton is much higher up, and the story behind this is that this was something that he created, and he put it on his desk, and people were walking by, and they're like, oh, hey, that's pretty neat. Check that thing out. Oh, there's a lot to this. 40516. This is available starting June 1st. It is a $35 retail price tag, 346 pieces. If you are looking for something awesome, there's a lot here. Obviously, Everyone is Awesome is the name of the set, but there is seriously a lot of awesomeness here. And it doesn't matter where you stand on the spectrum with anything in the world, you're going to love this for what it is, for whatever you choose it to be for you. So what does it have? It's got a lot of color. So you have black, you have brown, you have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, the light North Carolina blue, right? University of North Carolina blue, the Tar Heel blue. I love that. The white, and then you have the magenta. A lot of colors. Very rainbow, right? Well, June is Pride Month around the world. I'm pretty sure it's around the world. Big deal. So behind this whole thing, you have a bunch of different minifigs, different colors, obviously, different hair pieces. So it male and female. So or I guess they're supposed to be maybe male and female. I don't really know. I'm just going based on hair. Either way, you have the minifig that has all the all black, the torso, the head, the legs, all black. And then the hair that is all black has that big old bun that is on top. Then the brown has the short hair, obviously all brown. I'm not going to tell you the minifigs are all this or that because they're all the same color of that hair. The red hair, which is kind of interesting. It almost feels like Kai's hair from Ninjago, and then it even felt even more like that. I know it's not, but it felt even more like that because this minifigure is red. Then you have the orange minifig, which we've seen this hair before. It's kind of swirled in the front and then a ponytail on the back. Yellow minifig has the kind of like bowl cut that kind of drops to the rear, which is kind of interesting. The green minifig has long flowing hair. I love it when I see this hair come in a set. It's just something really cool about it. The blue minifig has that swept up do from like the 60s. You know, I think the fawns every time I see this hair come about. And then the purple, you've got that big high 50s style hair, that big hair don't care thing going on. It's kind of interesting. I'm just enamored by that style. It's very bizarre, but it's very interesting. Not bizarre in a bad way. It's just very interesting to me. And then we move on to the baby blue color here with this hair, and it's just kind of combed over. This reminds me of one of the Lego designers, Sam Johnson. That's who it reminds me of. There's kind of that hair is just kind of combed over. Not like a comb over from one side to the other of somebody that's balding. Just kind of parted on one side and then combed across. You know, it's a little floofed out in the front. And then you have your cool guy. I say cool guy. Your white hair over here for this lovely fella. It's kind of, if I'm going to call it anything, it kind of maybe more reminiscent of the times of younger kids I see that have this hair. It's kind of flowy across the front and just kind of, it feels unkempt. And it's not necessarily the case, but it's different hair. It feels like dirty hair, not like it dirty as in like dirt on it, but dirty hair. And then you have the Magenta Minifig that is here, and her hair, which is parted close to the middle, and then it's flowing down on all sides. So you have a bunch of different do's here. You have a bunch of different colored minifigs, and the set is very simple. Now, Matthew Ashton teased on social media about a set that was coming out, and people were like, oh my goodness. I think most people by the end of it kind of figured it out, and this set really just contains a lot of the same. There are some plates that are on the bottom, but a lot of colored tiles, which is always a good thing. A lot of the colorful 2x3 bricks, 1x2 bricks, a few 1x1 bricks. And then you have some long span, I think they're tan bricks that run across the length so that you can make sure everything is solidified in here. So some good stuff here. And before I started this, it was one of those things. I don't know anything about Pride, but because that's not how I affiliate. Does that make sense? Anyway, but what I took from this is it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what sexuality you are. It doesn't matter what kind of hair you have, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of whatever about you that makes you unique. You are unique. And everyone is awesome in their own way for being unique in their own way. And I think that's not taught enough to people, not just kids, to adults, to be understanding of other people, to be caring of other people and what their desires are and decisions are and choices are, whether it be from religion to politics to race to sexual orientation. It's very interesting to me that a set like this has launched. Not because I'm shocked by it, but I applaud LEGO for taking the fortitude of launching something when in the current world, we live in a funky world, right? We kind of live in a weird time where you just don't know from day to day what is going to happen next. Now, one thing that I do wish was included in this, and I hope LEGO does this moving forward. I don't know very much about Middle Eastern culture. I know about as much as students tell me because I am very curious. Around Ramadan time, I ask a lot of students because they go through their fasting during the day from sunrise to sunset. I hope, if we're talking about inclusivity, I hope at some point in time, because we've seen it in Lego City with hearing aids, with the cochlear implants, with the blind individuals, with handicapped, the wheelchaired individuals. I hope at some point in time we can get to a place where LEGO says, you know what? I'm going to have an individual with a face covering, not a mask. I think they're called a hijab. And if I'm wrong, I mean no offense. I'm literally thinking off the top of my head right now. I hope at some point in time that becomes something to go with a minifig. I think if we're going to talk about inclusivity and they want to do inclusivity, you have to go that way. I mean, I really think you have to go that way. Now, what I'd really like to see in the future is if LEGO is going to print on torsos, which they already do. I'd love to see all kinds of printed torsos for different regions around the world, different countries. like the country's flag. I think that'd be something interesting to go along. And I know they've done it on tile pieces for some of the racing sets, some of the Speed Champion sets in the past, when they had the podium and they had the different flags. So I know they have done that. As far as the build, this was simple. When you put your minifigs onto their little plate, what you have to be careful of is the minifigs are stacked so closely together. They are only a plate difference apart. So their hands, obviously, when they originally come out of the box, if you've ever pulled a torso out of the box, the arms are already kind of in a forward swept position. One of them is going to have to be back, and one of them is going to have to be forward so that your minifigs can all fit and stand. So everybody's got one arm kind of back to their side, and then all of them have one arm that is in the front. It just kind of looks funny. It almost looks like they're marching to the drum of their own beat, which, hey, that goes in with kind of what we're talking about, right? So very interesting stuff here. So as far as the set goes, it's very simple. It's very basic, but it's monochromatic. And those of you out there, Kaz, I know you're one of them that has done it. There are many people that are into the monochrome stuff. I will be curious to see what people take from these and run with it. But I will say, if you're going to spend money on a parts pack, maybe the 2x3 bricks aren't necessarily what you're looking for. But the minifigs, with all the different torso colors, with all the hair, with all the tiles. I know this isn't the cheapest way to get tiles. I'm just saying it's another way to get that kind of stuff if you want that kind of thing. And Rick from Rick's Bricks, if you haven't checked out Rick's Bricks, you definitely need to. Rick is, he prints custom minifigs and bricks and stuff like that. And his work is top notch. But I can see him be like, aha, this is really going to do it. And he was one that had said, you know, getting more minifig torsos and legs and different colors like this, that's going to be a dream for people that want to do this. And yeah, I agree. Especially if you're a quote unquote business person that is involved in the Lego community in that way, you know, there you go. But as a whole, I like the set. I like what it offers as far as parts. I also like what it offers as far as perspective on the world, in the world. And I applaud Lego. I'm curious. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that room when Matthew Ashton was meeting with whoever to discuss this, to launch this as a product. Because if you know anything about him, he's a very vibrant, energetic person. If you follow him on social media, on Twitter, sit back, get some coffee or some tea, and just enjoy yourself, because I guarantee you at some point in time, you're going to go and spit some of it out, laughing at something that he said. Like, holy cow, this guy. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. And I'd love to talk to him one day, have him on the show and talk to him about this, talk to him about his past endeavors and stuff like that. So that's what I've got for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I want to leave you with one last thing before we go. Just be kind. If this is not your type of set, just be kind. That's all I'm asking. Just be kind. I'm not asking you to like it, but what is the golden rule they teach in elementary school? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sounds about right. So with that said, I am out of here. I will talk to you guys next time with some cool stuff coming your way. And as always, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.